And if Allah Rabbul Izzah is on your side, everything else will take care of itself. You will face difficulties and obstacles and challenges and hardships in life. Keep Allah on your side. Keep Allah Rabbul Izzah on your side, and success is yours. And I read a beautiful statement recently. It's all the success you want is on the other side of fear. So you yourselves, others, you're stuck in an unhappy job because of fear. You're stuck in a bad situation because of fear. Fear is what holds people back. And when there's no fear of Allah in the heart, Allah fills it with the fear of everything else. Remember that. If the heart is not filled with the fear of Allah, Allah fills it with the fear of everything else. So you're afraid of sickness, so you take insurance, and you become afraid of losing your job, you take job security insurance, and you're afraid of your mortgage, so do you understand me? It's a life, you wake up fear, 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 fear. And then superstitions come, you walk under a ladder, oh my God, what happened? I walked under a ladder, let's walk a few times this way. Do you get me? That was their lives. A life filled with fear and superstitions and shackled by false gods and false ideas. And Iman came and released them from it all. And they became what I call superhumans. Like you look at the Sahaba and the challenges they faced and the obstacles they conquered, a normal human can't do it. Should I give you some examples? Here, I'll give you one. This is the Battle of Mu'tah. And the Prophet ﷺ has sent these people. The first way, Zayd ibn Haritha and Ja'far ibn Abi Talib and Abdullah ibn Rawaha. Instructions, listen, Zayd is in charge. If he falls, Ja'far will take the reins. If Ja'far falls, Abdullah ibn Rawaha will take the reins. If Abdullah ibn Rawaha falls, then choose a leader from yourselves. Now these Muslims were sent to odds you cannot imagine. Like the Prophet ﷺ sent a few thousand, and although historians differ, but one sum is that 150,000 came out against them. And they went there against Arab tribes, but the Roman legions came instead, from Rome. So can you imagine fear like that? And you would think they would go pale, nervous, shake, worry, panic. You won't find it. Like it's as though they didn't know fear existed. So the first one, Zayd, fell. So Ja'far holds the standard and gallops into the enemy. And then he thinks in difficulty the horse might run back. So he jumped off and hamstrung the horse. This is heard on battlefield, him saying, يا حبذا الجنة واقترابها طيبة وبارد شرابها والروم روم قد دنا عذابها كافرة بعيدة أنصابها. Oh Jannah, like in battlefield, like you should be scared against odds. Instead he's going, يا حبذا الجنة واقترابها. Oh, the beauty and delight of Jannah and how close you are. Like just beyond this I am in Jannah. Do you understand? Like where he should be scared and nervous. But do you see what Iman does? It made the obstacles of this life nothing. And then he's not the isolated one. So you know how they struck him. His right hand got cut. So he held the standard with his left hand. So they cut off his left hand. So he held it like that. And then they stabbed him through. And as he's falling, the standard's about to fall. So they get it and they say, where's Abdullah ibn Rawaha? So Abdullah ibn Rawaha, who was the third commander in charge, his cousin has just given him a piece of bone with a bit of meat on it. Like, here, have a bite. And he's having this in the standard camp. And for a second he tarried. For a second. And then he says this to himself, and they hear him. يا نفس ما لك تكرهين الموت. Oh soul, why are you afraid of death? إلا تقتلي تموتي هذا حياض الموت قد صليتي وما تمنيت فقد لقيتي. What are you afraid of? Death. This is what you were seeking, and you know what you desire is just in front of you. Then he tells himself, oh my soul, unless you die here, you will die somewhere else, so go face your destiny. And he galloped into it. And the Prophet ﷺ is narrating the story to the Sahaba in Medina, like miles away. But my point is, difficulties like that, where you would have thought they would break, it had no effect on them. Why? Because of the power of Iman. So Iman gave them the strength to succumb all types of odds. So the stronger your Iman becomes, the more active, proactive, productive individual you'll become. Through that Iman, build a strong connection with Allah Rabbul Izzah. Because trust me, if Allah helps you, no one can overcome you. And if Allah forsakes you, there is none to hold your hands after that. And history is filled with examples of great men in whose side Allah Rabbul Izzah was. If I start from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is one day sitting under a tree. He's hanging his sword off the tree. A man came, disbeliever, took the sword, put it on the neck of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And swords are like blades, it's just a cut, it will cut the jugular veins off, So he puts the sword on his neck and says, who will save you from me today? So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, without thinking, thought, Allah. So the man's hand froze, started to shake, the sword fell. So the Rasul took the sword, put it on his neck, says, who will save you from me today? Because I have an Allah and you don't have an Allah. Do you understand? So if Allah Rabbul Izzah is on your court, on your side, you have nothing to worry about. So have Allah Rabbul Izzah on your side, dear ones. Have a strong relationship with Allah Rabbul Izzah. Unshackle yourselves from the fears that shaitan has shackled you with. Because shaitan makes you afraid. He makes you afraid of poverty. He encourages you towards indecency. All those are tricks of shaitan. Release yourselves from it. Your rizq is with Allah Rabbul Izzah. May Allah Rabbul Izzah place barakah in goodness and khair and afiyah in your lives. And may Allah bless you and your families. And Allah make your attendance here a cause of khair for you in this life and in the next. For your time and patience, I thank you. May Allah guide and guard you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.